Okay, this is Rob Fleming here. I'm going to give you some feedback on your presentation. And I'm going to post it to Blackboard. Nice project. I'll come back to that. I'm not really wanting to look at that right now. So first off, so that's good. The clouds are in the way, but that's very helpful. So that's great. So here you got to be a little careful with this. So here you're clearly cutting and pasting. And I can see the links, so what you need to do is clean this up and you need to source it. So what you do is you get rid of these links and then you source it. I guess it's Wikipedia or something like that, which is fine for me. And I think under analysis, so artists in London, you want to talk about anything about the fact that this is a British building, if that has any impact on the project. In other words, I understand it's London, it's Britain. Did it have any? It was a British company. A little bit on that, but that's fine. Now here, you would put a big check mark here so I know that we were in London. Okay, so that's interesting. So you're talking about sea level rise, which is good. Sea level rise only a few meters within it. Oh, so this is really interesting. Highly populated and developed land. So where is that exactly? I mean, I don't see. Is this is the water as it is now? I don't see the sea level rise itself. You'd have to zoom in. I think it's better here just to talk about sea level rise in general because this map is too small. I think it's great that you're doing that. Is sea level rise an issue for Britain? That's what I really want to know. And if it is, where did you read that? And if you read that somewhere, is there a source that you can put down here? Maybe you have them at the end. That's okay, good. This is important because I think this is right. So that's good because the world's nation's economy is a British Airways company. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. It's context. Okay, so this is good. You've got the city of London there. I'm assuming that's where we are. Again, same thing on these. I wouldn't have those there. Second largest regional economy in the UK. Right, that's good. You just need a source. I think I got to get people to put sources on or footnote them, like one, and then show it in the back. This is good, but you have to show the site. Show site. Where is the site? And then is there good access to public trans, right? You always want to show the site on every map. So habitat of history, right? So this is culture, right? Okay. So here is really interesting. What I want to see here is does the building reflect this culture? In other words, I see all this great heritage and imagery, and I don't know if this is London or not, but the building itself is kind of back here is like a skyscraper, and what does that mean culturally? Is the building culturally integrated into its city, or is it reflecting some sort of new thing? Going back up here, I love to see worldview. What worldview does the building represent? And here, so this could also be, these pictures could be used for experience as well, or you could put more pictures in for experience. But here I might talk about seeing the building from above in context. So we're not really feeling the building yet from an experiential point of view, but I'm curious and maybe that goes back to the previous slide, is how does the building look in its context with all these historical buildings? So this is not district. District is your neighborhood. So at this point, I'd expect a zoomed-in plan of London. I really don't know where this building is, actually. So this is more, global or regional scale. again, this is all global regional scale. This doesn't do much. I want to get into the neighborhood within London. So now you have another SEPTA map, another transit map. So I want to know where the site is on here. And same as before. But at this point, I actually want to zoom into the site. And I want to see public trans at the site scale. So I want to see where the bus stops are and the subway stops are and how far they are away from the building. And I want to see, are people walking from, are most people taking public trans, or are they not? So at this point, we're in district, by the way. We are in district. So at this point, I want to know what is the neighborhood identity, right? So I still don't know much about the building. I don't even know where it is. I don't know what neighborhood it's in. I don't know if it fits in with its neighborhood. I don't know how people in the neighborhood feel about it. But like an example, I'm looking in this one here, and I still don't see the building in any of these. So I think you do want to get the context, and the context is not just that's good right there. Now here is experience, and this is good. So now, but this says London, right? So we're at the district or community scale. So I want to see the actual photos of the actual neighborhood, so that I know how this building looks and feels in the neighborhood. So you're going to have to, these go more on city scale, by the way. These are fine for city scale. Site scale. Okay, finally. So this is actually district. So a site is really like a city block, or the block. I guess this is the building. I think that's the building. So a site is really that. That's a site. This is a district. Okay, and I know I have to teach better, so I take some responsibility for this. This is a great drawing. So this is certainly the district that it's in. It's in a financial district, it looks like. So you might want to mention that it's in a financial district. And this is pretty helpful. Oh, look, there's actually a floor. Oh, this is a cluster of buildings. I see. That's a really good, this is a really important drawing. I'd like to see that bigger if you can, or explain it more. What is that? This is a really interesting drawing. Is that the plan of a building or the cluster? I think it's actually this. So what does that? What does this equal mean? I'm curious on how that works. Is that for getting light in? How it would enhance the skyline completing the cluster? So that really, when you talk about enhancing the skyline, you're talking about experience. And so, yeah, work on that. So that's great. So this is a really good. This is a good experience, right? Oh, history. See, I don't really care about history when I'm talking about experience. What kind of contribution did it make? This is obviously somebody's quote, right? So what makes it enjoyable? So there's some analysis here of why is this good? Why? Like I can see, for example, that there are no cars here and people are walking on the site and there's some trees and the structure comes down in a really interesting way, and you have to really start to analyze what it is about the experience that you like. This is a great picture for experience, by the way. So I really feel that coming down. That's pretty cool. I see it in context. This is definitely site scale. It's really good. So really what's happening in your study is I've got a good idea of what this feels like on the site. I don't really have a good idea of how it feels in the district or in the city itself. I still don't really know where it is. So this is a good diameter of the towers reduced to street level to maximize the, that's good. Very good. The usual geometry of the primary structure gives rise to horizontal force each node and acting prime. That's more of a systems. See here you might just talk about the height and the square footage, how many people use it. I mean, I would get it. This is more systems and how the structure is interacting. See, like this, for example, the plan views airflow. This is good. So this is a metric. This is a metric of the airflow. So this actually is performance. What I want to know is how do they get these airflows? In other words, what are the systems that generate these airflows? And here it is. So I kind of understand it. how does this really work? It's trying to get air to kind of move around. So I really want to know a little bit more about how it works. See, because this is like the perspective view of the simulation. So these are simulations. So these are metrics, which are great. I want to move them to performance. And what I want to know is how did they do that? How do they do that? And you can have multiple slides, dude. You can have like 8 slides for systems. You don't have to have one slide per. So I just want to keep that in mind. Maximize penetration. So this is really systems, right? And performance. Doesn't really talk about culture. Light levels of movement to prevent unnecessary. Again, systems, right? Use multiple slides. That's systems, right? And we talk about manifest meaning. Here we finally get indoor air environment for people. So culture is a lot about how the building integrates people and cares about people and how people feel and as if they're being treated well or how they're interacting in the space. So floor plans would be nice here to see how office space is used and how is it open office, is it not open office, is it etc. And then this is more site. I'd like to get some views. I have one view. This is actually experience, by the way. This is good for experience because it shows me what it's like in the building. Here I'm not really feeling what it's like in the building or right up against the building. I'm not sure if that's helpful. So building facade is composed entirely of glass. Yeah, see, I would put this under building scale. Here's finally a floor plan. So that's really interesting. It has a really big core. One of those that expose the interaction between the indoor and outdoor environment in one way. Right. So what's happening here is it's got a really heavy structure as its core, and then it's very light on the exterior, which gives you those views out, I believe, which is probably the main purpose. That core is pretty structural, I'd say, and then because this is a woven, I'd like to hear more about this woven structure and why that works in the systems view. I also like to see this full size. Whoops. Good. Interiors. So, very good. So let's think what the guy, this is great, right? This is what I'm looking for. This is great. So has a, wow, it actually has a way to interact with the outdoors. This is really clever, right? So they're bringing air in and out. So this is summer. This is winter. The office building facade uses natural air currents to cool the room in the summer while employing direct. I suppose that's good enough. Interested in this screen. You should reuse the same picture and experience and talk about what it feels like there because it looks like this is a double skin, which means that I don't really get the clear view out into the city, which is a shame. Look at that, but here you do. Like, that's a great, so you have this for meaning. So culture, you have this for culture. I might put this under experience. Let's see, this use renewable resources boat. So that's probably a good, I mean, here you would talk about commitment to environment as a company. That's a cultural thing, commitment to environment as a company. You want to talk about what you kind of, but this picture doesn't really help that. These are good for experience. Although this one building will have minimal effect on overnight. Good. I think that's good. That's a good analysis. And yeah, these are good experience views. Experience views. Looks like there's still a fair amount of structure on the perimeter here, but not here, which is interesting. I wonder how that works. So this is like a pretty high space here. A soaring space. I want to talk about that. Again, you can use more than one slide for each of these categories. Hope that was helpful, and I'll look forward to seeing your